the Emo Hour, your weekly power hour of all things emo and adjacent, with your hosts, Katie and Nani.
Hello and welcome to the Emo Hour. This is your host, Nani, and my good friend, Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Well, the beginning of this episode is a little different than what we had originally planned, and I think we're both feeling a little emo about this, and that is,
Why is that? What happened, Nani? Whatever could have happened?
oh my God. Well, so you know what? It's a good thing that it's happened at least once because we've learned a lot through this, but we recorded an entire episode with a good friend of ours, local legend, a Boiseite, and a general all-around good guy and a fabulous musician. And we talked to him all about Treefort and his band and all this amazing stuff. And the file was deleted. And
Yeah.
so we must go back to the drawing board. And fortunately, he's that good of a friend that he's going to re-record with us. And so
Ah,
y'all are going to have to wait one more week to hear all about Mark Oliver and Treefort and the Idaho and Boise music scene, and his band, the Sheepridge Jumpers. But until then, you get us.
yeah. So today it will be a little bit different. Just, tech issue after tech issue after tech issue over here. But like you said, learning a lot. And I am very thankful that Mark is willing to give us more of his time. And if you're from the Wood River Valley, like you definitely know who Mark is. He's a staple here, and he's definitely like becoming more of a staple in Boise where he lives now. It was a great interview. He has so much information. So this is just a little teaser for next week. How about that?
Exactly. Exactly. It's the warm up to the real thing.
Yeah.
But we should talk about what's actually making us emo this week because it's very timely. So I guess I should ask you the question of what's making you emo this week, Katie.
Right. Well, other than the mishap after mishap, um, I am very excited about some things that are happening in the emo world that are very specific to like my flavor of emo. So, the most exciting thing for me is Brand New announced a full tour, which we had kind of been talking about and anticipating. And they are coming to Salt Lake City in June.
Yeah,
And
they are.
luckily, I was able to secure us some tickets to go. And it's on a Saturday, which is great for me. So I'm just so excited. It's been 20 years at least since I've seen them last. So it's like they were always one of my favorite bands. I'm just so excited to see them. I know that it's going to be such an interesting and exciting show because everybody that's going to be there is just going to be so stoked.
Living their best life. So I have to ask you a question. How many tickets did you buy?
Oh, well, I have two sets of two currently. Because I signed up for the band's pre-sale and I got on there and I was trying for floor seats and like I clicked and it was sold out. And then I tried for another set of seats and I clicked and it was sold out. And then I tried for another set of seats and I clicked and it was sold out. So I just kind of panic bought some. And then you and I went to lunch together a little, like 20 minutes later. And I told you that I did some panic purchases. But I finally I decided I didn't love the selection, so I bought two others.
Yeah, you did.
And, I'm pretty confident I can resell it on Ticketmaster and at least get face value back. So I
Yeah.
haven't even looked at that yet. But I'm sure the show is probably sold out right now by now because I did pre-sale, but I know they did full sale a couple days later. So I'm sure I can at least get face value, if not more, which I
I
don't
just
really care. I just want to get face value.
I just had to call it out because I thought it was so funny and I absolutely loved it. And we've all panic bought tickets before. Nothing to feel bad about. I've never seen Brand New live before, so I'm really excited to go see them. I don't know the repertoire like you do. So
Right.
it's going to be fun to go with you because you know it so well, and I'm kind of a fair weather fan.
Right. Yeah. And I am just, it's going to be so awesome. And I don't know if I should say this or not, but we always say there's a caveat with Jesse Lacey because he was like canceled and now they're coming back. But I just want to say, and I hope this is not too much of a hot take, but I appreciate that he took accountability and has worked on bettering himself. And I
Right.
think that that is an important thing because we've all got one life to live, and there's it's a long life, and we all make mistakes, and his was certainly not a small mistake, but I think taking accountability and trying to better yourself, like you can pay your dues.
Yeah.
Um, so that's my hot take, but I'm very excited. I think it's going to be great. And I have, like I said, multiple things that are making me emo. Blink-182 just announced a tour, and they're going on tour with Alkaline Trio, who, as we know, Matt Skiba of Alkaline Trio was the guitarist and singer who stepped in when Tom DeLonge stepped out of the band. And I really hope that this tour kind of squashes some of the like drama or rumors that people have spread about Tom and Matt not liking each other.
Right.
Because if you've ever read any articles or like listened to them ever talk about it, it's not any bad blood whatsoever. But so I don't know why people say that, but they get
Because it's
along.
a good story. I don't know, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like they're going on tour together. This is amazing.
Yeah. And they did do a benefit show for the California fires back in February or March, maybe it was March, um, with Alkaline Trio opening for Blink for the benefit. And Matt came on stage and sang a song with Blink, which was pretty awesome too. So I'm sure we'll see some of that during the tour. I don't know if they'll do that every night. That seems like that could be a lot every night, but I don't know, maybe like that seems like something they should definitely do.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
And then more Blink-182 news. Mark
This is your
Hoppus,
week, Katie. Like this.
it's my week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Hoppus released his book, which we've talked about a little bit, Fahrenheit 182. It's a memoir, and it's available on audiobook too. So and he narrates it. So I'm
Oh, yeah, that's
definitely gonna
awesome.
listen.
I love it when the authors read it themselves because it gives it like true, it gives it more depth because you're
Yeah,
hearing it
well,
from their voice.
especially when it's like a memoir, so it's about their life. So it's
Yeah.
really cool to hear them talk about it. And then my last thing is another Blink-182 thing, but it's kind of like a memoir. But Tom DeLonge went on this podcast called One Life, One Chance podcast. The host is Toby Morse, and it's almost a 3-hour episode.
Is
Like
he, he's the creator of Liquid Death Water, right?
oh, I don't know, maybe what I wrote down is he's the singer of the punk band H2O,
Hmm.
which H2O, Liquid Death, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, and he's also one of the vocalists for the band Hazen Street. Um, but I didn't know about the Liquid Death thing, maybe. Um, but that's a really cool episode because like I said, it's a long one. So it's almost like a memoir because Tom talks a lot about his whole life, and he talks about like the breakups with Blink and how he wishes he would have like handled that better. And he talks a lot about alien stuff and paranormal stuff and all of his work with the government. It's just really cool because he doesn't do stuff like that very often. Even
Hmm.
on that podcast, he said, I say no to everything. Like, this is pretty rare. And it's also cool because those two know each other, like, they're old friends.
Oh, I love
So,
that.
yeah, it's just them having a conversation and bullshitting. And it's just really enjoyable to listen to that. So, a lot of things making me emo,
Oh, that's
but
so cool.
emo in a good way.
Did they get more in depth because they were really good friends?
Probably. I mean, I've never listened to that podcast before, so I don't know how the other ones go. But I would guess, yeah. I mean, they would talk about like, oh, remember this when this happened, you know?
Memory
And that's
Lane.
just,
Nothing like Memory Lane.
yeah, that's just fun
He
to hear.
is. I just looked it up real quick. He's the Liquid Death guy.
Oh, yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, he's done okay for himself.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds
That's
like
so
it.
cool. Well,
So,
that's I love that. This is your week. Your favorite bands announced all sorts of exciting things. You've now got a book to listen to. You've got a concert to look forward to. And it sounds like you had a lot of other listenings in between and I guess concerts to look forward to. So, yeah, this was your week, Katie.
Yeah, it's only middle of the week too. We'll see what the rest of the week brings.
Happy Hump Day.
Mm. What about you, Nani? What's making you emo other than our, you know,
Our
episode
electronic
situation?
catastrophe.
Yeah.
Well, I also had a really amazing week. Well, I should say weekend. So I went to Seattle, and this has been in the plans for such a long time. Months ago, Sam Fender, one of my favorite artists, that I've never been able to see live before because I've attempted to see him 3 times, including overseas travel, specifically to see him. He has canceled every single show that I've tried to see him at. This has been a very long time coming. We're talking years in the making. So he announced dates in the United States. And I'm sure if you listen to the podcast and you've been following along, I've talked about this in previous episodes that I've been trying to see him. So he announced a date in Seattle and in Salt Lake City. And at first, we couldn't quite figure out why the tour was so weird. And then I realized, oh, wait, it's around Coachella. So all of these dates kind of surround
Right.
Coachella, and he's going to be at Coachella as well. But this weekend, I finally got to see Sam Fender, and it was so amazing. He played at the Paramount Theater, which, is a bigger venue than I was wanting to see him in, just because, 2 years ago he would have played to like a couple hundred people.
Hmm.
But it
And
was
you had tickets
amazing.
for that.
Yeah, I had tickets.
Yeah.
And so he played with like, I think it was an 8-piece band. So it was super cool. It's a ton of musicians around him. His voice, I was completely taken back from his voice. Like I knew it was really good on the record, but it doesn't always translate to live. I think he sounded even better live. I
Wow.
I don't it was so good. It was just so freaking good. I highly recommend listening to Sam Fender. He's like the UK's answer, or the Brits' answer to Bruce Springsteen, kind of meets John Mayer, I guess. Lyrically, I would say he's more on the end of Bruce Springsteen. Musically, and maybe a little bit more like John Mayer. He's so great. And some of his stuff is super kind of punk as well.
Hmm.
Like there was a couple of times in which I was hoping the crowd was just going to go into a mosh pit. The only drawback I had from the concert is that I thought that the people in the crowd were going to be a little bit more energetic. And it was the only thing that was a little lacking was the energy of the people in the crowd, which was kind of a weird thing. And I don't know if
Yeah.
that's like a Seattle thing, or I don't think it's a Seattle thing. It felt like there wasn't as much energy in the room as I was expecting. But our mutual friend Krista, she brought up a really good point, and I didn't see it at first. And then as she was saying it, I'm like, wait, I think you might be right. And then since then, I looked on a couple posts, and it totally confirmed her theory, and that is she think it was the opposite Swiftie effect, in the sense that how many Americans went to European countries to go see Taylor Swift because it was cheaper, it was whatever. She was
Hmm.
like, I think people came here from the UK to come see him because in the UK he plays stadiums and arenas. He was
Yeah.
playing, a 3,000 seat venue. And then today I was looking, and there was a bunch of comments being like, I flew over to Seattle to see you from London or from wherever. And so Krista was totally right that there was a ton of Brits living in the US that were there, just a ton of Brits in general. But then on top of that, there was people that flew in specifically for the show, which makes sense. Like Seattle's a great city to
Totally.
visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made sense.
But I would
Um,
think that the energy level would be high then if people are traveling so
right?
far.
Right? That's what I thought. But what I did love about the audience is it was super respectful. We all had space, nobody was squished. Like you
Good.
remember the days where you're getting slammed up against the barriers and it's just not fun.
Mm-mm.
Everybody had room, everybody was dancing, having a good time, or at least like nodding their head. But yeah, the energy wasn't super, super high, but boy, were they good. And then I also have to just shout out what a wonderful weekend we had. I would say like the whole weekend is what made me emo, not just the concert. I mean, obviously the reason of going there was to see Sam Fender, but along the way we had the most fun. I have to shout out a couple new friends we met. Oh my God, Katie, at the Sam Fender show, we were walking out and I see the backside of this guy, and he's wearing an Elder Emo shirt. So naturally, I
Love
stop and I'm
it.
like, "Hi, I need to know your story." I was like, "And also, will you follow us on Instagram and Spotify?" And so he did. His name
Love
is
it.
David. Super nice guy. He's a
Hi,
teacher.
David.
And he went to the show by himself, and then we all went out and got drinks later.
Love
And
it.
it was so fun. We went to this place, Donna's, and met this bartender, Kelso. Kelso wrote us, or me, you, me, all of our friends, the most amazing list of recommendations. She was one, a killer bartender, and two, this list of recommendations is like 30 or 40. I was expecting a couple, just being like, hey,
Yeah.
don't know the area super well, would love to learn like from the bartender's perspective, what is your favorite? Where would you go? What would you recommend? Literally got a list of like 40 places, specific ones that are starred. And it was just so cool because sometimes you hear about this thing called the Seattle Freeze where like they don't want to make any new friends. I only experienced the opposite of that.
Hmm.
Everybody was so kind, so nice, so like open arms. And maybe
I've
it's
never
because,
heard of that term, the Seattle freeze.
yeah, it's like if
Hmm.
when you Google it, because I'm sure you will, just knowing you, like it essentially says that like it's hard to make friends in Seattle.
Okay.
And I'm like, we can debunk this myth. Like
Mm.
this weekend kind of debunked it for me. But I mean, I don't live there and I also have never met a stranger. So there's that too.
Right. You're
Um,
very friendly, very easy to talk to.
and
Totally.
then I also have to call out one other place, and that is it was called, I think it was C2's Tacos. I hope I remembered that correctly. Anyways, our bartender, Nyan, and the other gal that worked there, Kat, were so epic. We had the most amazing time. It's this bar in Ballard, just down the street from Sonic Boom Records
Hmm.
in Ballard, and this excellent taco place, and they have a bar in the back. And we saddled up to the bar, had the most of it, like fantastic food and drink. And then, I was like, will you follow our podcast? And at first he was like not into it. And by the end he was like, do you guys really have to leave? Like you should hang out
Oh,
longer. It was
yeah.
we had the best time with him. And then Kat, who works there as well, we started playing the name game, and we had a good friend of hers and mine, Erica Lighty, who's a music industry girly. She's such a, I shouldn't call her girly. She's a boss babe is what she is. And when we realized that we had this person in common, we took a selfie and sent it to her. It's just small
Yeah.
world run-ins like that really, they make me emo.
Yeah, I mean, talk about small world run-ins. I don't know if we talked about this when we talked about Mexico. I don't need to bring it back anymore, but we were on the boat with a bachelorette
Yes.
party, and most of them were from Texas, and we said, "Oh, so we're in Sun Valley," and she's like, "Well, how close is that to Haley?" And we said, "Right next to it." And turns out one of her good friends that she used to work with is my family photographer. So just it is such a small world.
I know, and it only gets smaller, I swear. It was just that was so cool too. We all lost our shit. We were like, "Wait, what? How's this possible?" Yeah, so it was a really fun weekend, and I can't not say we went on a hot tub boat.
Yep, that's your thing, man.
I
Never.
love a hot tub boat. Shout out hot tub boats. Hot tub boats, there's really only one brand. You have to go to hot tub boats. You can't go to the other ones. Hot tub boat is like the shape of their boat is actually like a boat with a rectangular tub in it. And the other ones
Right.
are circular tubs that are like lower in the water. I swear I don't work for this company, but boy, do I enjoy their hot tubs that are
And
inside of a boat.
only in Seattle, or do you know if they have other
Also in
locations?
Alameda. Why do I know all this? It's so ridiculous, but they're also in Alameda, which is the Bay Area.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had so much fun and finally got to see Sam Fender. I have to
Thanks,
ask,
sweet baby
was
Jesus.
it was it worth the buildup or the anticipation? Did it meet your expectations? Like, how are you feeling about it?
I don't know. I feel like it was worth it. Like it was worth it, but the buildup was just like when things get built up like that, your expectations just get higher and higher and higher. And I would say like the show was amazing. Vocals were insane. Like everything was awesome. But like the crowd, it's the crowd that just didn't feel quite right. So guess what? I have tickets to see him in Salt Lake City too, so I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah, so we can
And
compare.
That's right. And I also I haven't told you this yet, but I got passes to Coachella through my old boss. And so he hooked it up for me and I'm gonna be able to go see some people that I really want to see at Coachella and I think that should be fun,
Yeah.
which includes another set by Sam Fender. And there's no way he's canceling Coachella. Like that would be so taboo.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Mm-mm.
Well, we'll have to, once you've seen all three, we'll have to compare and see which one was your favorite.
Right? And I deserve to see him 3 times. That's all I have to
You
say.
do, because you've
Yeah.
tried multiple times already.
Hey, you want to come down to Salt Lake City and see him with me?
Uh, I think I looked it up and it's on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's on a Wednesday.
That's not great.
It doesn't make it
Um,
easy.
Not for me, no.
Dang. Okay, a girl can try.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hope that one happens and I
Me
hope you
too.
love it. I love how so many people, including myself, kept asking you like the day of, any news? Have you heard anything? Is it canceled? Like I didn't want to say that word, but I kept saying, have you heard anything?
I know you're like, will you just text me like once it starts?
Yeah.
That's what friendship is. I love that you texted me that because I know that you know how much it meant to me to see him. So it
Yeah.
was so awesome, and I can't wait to see him again. And his I cannot say it enough. Like his voice truly is incredible. I
Yeah,
hate
it
this is
is.
actually a really weird take, but he's kind of like Michael McDonald. You know when Michael McDonald sings, it's just so soulful. To me,
Hmm.
Sam Fender is like maybe a modern no, it's I can't compare the two except that they both have so much soulfulness in their voices and I love Michael McDonald's voice.
Yeah. And can you remind me what band? Is it Doobie Brothers?
Yeah, Doobie Brothers.
Okay. I thought that's what it was. I also thought we should tell the listeners. The
What a fool
Doobs.
believes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, good. I'm glad you had so much fun, but I think we should wrap this episode up. It's a short one today
it's a
because we
short
had
one.
change of plans.
That's just what's going to happen. But I have to tell you, we weren't going to do emo lyric of the day, but I found an emo lyric for both of us
Love
because
it.
I think it just kind of depicts like how we feel
Yeah.
a
Okay.
little
Well, let's hear it.
like a little bit. And it really like I love this band. I don't know that you listen to this band all that much. But maybe you did. City in Color.
Not a lot, a little
Dallas
bit.
Green. Yeah, he
Not a lot.
also super soulful voice. I love his voice. And the song is just called it's The Girl. So it's City in Color,
Okay.
The Girl. And all it says that I'm going to read, and when you cry, a piece of my heart dies.
Well,
Well, there was no tears today, but boy, did a little part of my heart feel like it died when we lost
yeah.
all that footage.
It's frustrating for
But you know
sure.
what?
That's a great emo lyric.
Right? It's pretty good. And guess what?
Yeah.
I don't have to choose who wins because there's only one.
I know. Is that why you surprised me with one so that you
Maybe.
could have a default choice?
I needed to win. So I win. I win
Okay,
today's
you win.
contest. Um,
Congratulations.
I know. I've never been prouder. Well, you know what? We made the most of it. It's always good to talk to you. And we'll be back next week with a real
Yeah.
full episode with our dear friend Mark Oliver, aka Beeve.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in and tune in next week.
Yeah, I was going to say like, subscribe, and I think we have a lot of new listeners and a lot of new followers. So follow us on Instagram if you don't already at the Emo Hour and on TikTok at the Emo Hour. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hey, I've got a little something for you.
Ooh, this sounds like folksy.
I wish I could do better by you, 'cause that's what you deserve.
Oh,
This melancholy is
so emo.
this is how I feel.
Yeah.
Provides so much of your life in order for this to work.
Oh, so emo.
I
All
know.
I'm chasing.
All right, we'll see you next week.
All right, bye.
Bye.